Here in Tampa, Florida, covering the GOP convention. Honored to be joined by the governor of Iowa, Terry Branstad. Governor Branstad, it's good to see you, sir.
Great to be here. Thank you. It's been a fun convention. I thought Paul Ryan did a great job last night. Looking forward to hearing Governor Romney tonight.
So we were at the Iowa caucuses, of course, that kicked off this entire season. This is kind of like one of the next to the last stops. You got these, you got the debates, and then you have the election. What's it like to be part of such an important process?
Well, it's great. This is my 8th national convention. I haven't been to the last 2 because I was president of a medical school.
Okay.
I was kind of out of politics, but I had a lot of people say, we need your experience and leadership. I came back as governor to get the state's financial house in order, focus on jobs. We need a president that's going to do the same thing that Republican governors are doing all across the country, and we just cannot afford to continue to spend 40 cents of every dollar the federal government is spending is borrowed money. We're now $16 trillion in debt, and we need a president also that's not going to attack the private sector and blame other people, but provide the leadership to encourage the private sector to invest and grow our economy and restore the American dream.
What did you do to get the financial house back in order?
Well, the first thing we did is we cut spending. We said we're going to spend no more than the state's taking in, and we're only spending 97% of revenue. And then we had money they'd borrowed from the cash reserve and economic emergency account. We've restored that money. We now have not only the state budget balance, we've restored the money that they'd taken from the cash reserve and economic emergency account. We put together 5-year projections, and each year we're going to spend less than we're taking in. So we did it the old-fashioned way by making tough decisions and not spending more than we take in. The federal government, believe it or not, is spending 40 cents of every dollar being borrowed money. Now, you can't do that with your budget. Nobody can. And this country can't afford to do it much longer. We're reaching a point where we're going to be worse off than Europe if this continues.
Talk to me about the tradition of the Second Amendment in your state. The hunters, do they cherish and honor the Second Amendment and the use of guns in your state?
Well, first of all, I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. We have a lot of gun owners and hunters in our state, and they cherish the Second Amendment. In fact, I'm proud to say as governor, and I supported this when I came to the legislature in the 70s when I was governor before, finally I got the opportunity to sign a dove hunting bill. So we had, for the first time since 1920, we had a dove season in Iowa. My son and I went hunting there last year. In fact, my son is a bigger hunter than I am, and he's a better shot than I am, I got to say this. But then we also had some folks on the Environmental Commission, on the Natural Resources Commission, that tried to ban traditional lead shot.
Right.
And I'm proud to say that I vetoed that. So we have protected traditional shot as well as legalized dove hunting in Iowa, and I'm really proud to be part of the Sportsman's Caucus as well for the national governors.
So if our listeners and our viewers have some tourism dollars to spend, would you recommend they come to Iowa?
Listen, we have some of the best white-tailed deer hunting in the nation. We have some real, and that's another thing I started when I was governor before, and then I had a 12-year sabbatical. I'm back. We're starting a governor's deer hunt. And yes, we're going to have that and it's a muzzle-loading deer hunt, and we'll have that in early January. We also have an annual governor's pheasant hunt. But there's great pheasant hunting in Iowa and deer hunting in Iowa, also wild turkeys, and of course, now we have dove hunting.
Yeah, thanks to you. What do you think would happen to this country if President Obama were to win a second term? What would happen to your state, and what would happen to the rest of the country?
America cannot afford it. We cannot afford to have somebody that is such a divisive person that spends all his time attacking and blaming others. We need leadership. America has always, when the going gets tough, as my football coach used to say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. We need a tough, experienced leader like Mitt Romney to come in there and cut the level of spending and waste in the federal government and focus on bringing back private sector jobs by reducing the tax and regulatory burden, not looking at ways to raise taxes and further regulate the people that we're counting on, the entrepreneurs and businesses that can grow America's economy.
Last question, sir. All the discussion here about the rules changes and more of the top-down rules coming down from the national party and from the presumptive nominee. You know, there's always discussion about changing or eliminating caucuses, changing in primaries. What would happen if we eliminated the Iowa caucuses?
Well, that would be a big mistake because the Iowa caucuses are a grassroots opportunity to start this process. Actually, as the rules ended up, if a state tries to move up ahead of Iowa and New Hampshire, there is a big penalty. In fact, if they even move into the month of February, there's a significant penalty. They get reduced to only 12 delegates. So if you're a big state like California or Florida, it's not worth the risk to do that. So I think we have greater protections for the Iowa caucus and New Hampshire primary than ever before. And I think that's a good move, and I'm very supportive of that. And obviously, I believe it makes sense to start the process in Iowa. And you know, we launched Obama, but I believe that we're going to sink Obama because Iowans feel betrayed because he misled us. He told us he was going to be a unifier. Instead, he's been a very divisive, negative person who spends his time blaming and attacking others. That's not leadership. What we saw from Paul Ryan last night is what we want. Somebody that sets ambitious goals, 12 million new jobs in the next 4 years, reducing spending to no more than 20% of the gross domestic product. And I think we'll hear more of that from Mitt Romney tonight. I'm excited about this ticket. I want to do all I can to make sure that Iowa votes for Romney and Ryan.
Governor Branstad, good to meet you. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Good to be with you.